for today's session, an international webinar that we are organizing, and his talk will be on sustainability from engineering and Vedic perspective. Just to give you an introduction, brief introduction before you, Dr. Vikram Pattarkine is a chemical environmental engineer with a professional career dedicated to environmental stewardship. He has a master's in chemical engineering from Nagpur University and PhD in environmental engineering from Virginia Tech. He is the founder and CEO of an independent environmental consulting practice that is known as PEACE in USA. And in the past, he has held leadership positions also in consulting, in manufacturing, research, and technology development. Besides environmental stewardship, Dr. Vikram is a keen student of yoga, Bhagavad Gita, and Vedanta, and he and his team run an online lifestyle management program called Sattva, where the participants are provided guidance on diet purification, yoga, and spirituality in today's world. And you will appreciate that how it is important in nowadays. Dr. Vikram speaks regularly on the environment and yoga, Vedanta, and Bhagavad Gita, and he has given talks in many parts of the world and has traveled to over 24 countries for work. And recordings of his past presentations are also available on YouTube. If you search by his name, you can just see that many videos on time, yoga, and all this spirituality. He has many videos in YouTube. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. And now you can just share your screen and you can just start your talk, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Maitreyi. Thank you, Director Professor Bhola and the Dean Administration for inviting me here to be a part of this event and asking me to share my experiences with your faculty and students. Can I request everybody to mute their microphones? I think Dr. Prasad Burange, his microphone is on.
Okay.
If anybody else, their microphone is on, if they could mute, then we will not hear the background noise and the recording quality will be better. I would appreciate that. So shall I share my screen? Thank you, Professor Maitreyi, for that kind introduction. Let me see if I can live up to that expectation now. I'll try my best. My attempt is going to be to share my experience with you, not to force my opinion on you, but I would like to encourage you to think from a different perspective and see what you think about it. Okay, so it will be more of a conversation rather than a lecture. I don't want to give you a lecture because all of you are well versed in your areas of expertise. I cannot really match your expertise in your areas. I can only share with you what I have experienced in my field and then how I relate that to our larger life, not just engineering. Is my screen open? Can you see my screen? Just one second. I have opened the screen, but somehow, okay, I'll share it one more time. Good. You can see my screen now, right? Can Professor Maitreyi confirm?
No, sir. No, sir. Now it has been shared. Yes.
Now it has been shared, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can
Sure.
see the title. It says Sustainability from Engineering and Vedic Perspectives. Let's mute everybody's mics and then we'll get started. So this is the outline. These are roughly the topics I'm planning to cover here during today's session. We'll talk about environmental sustainability. We'll also talk about Vedic principles. We'll talk about industrial revolution, population growth, consequences, nature's warning, a different approach. We'll also look at our experience during the lockdown and how it affected us. We'll also talk about sustainable diet, sustainable living, and some concluding remarks. So let's start with sustainability itself. The word sustainability means the ability to be maintained at a certain rate or level. This we all understand from the word sustainability. But sustainability is used more in the context of environmental sustainability, which is the ability to maintain balance in the planet's natural environment to support the well being of current and future generations. And I would add to it not just human beings, but also all other beings. What do we mean by environment? We mean by environment the surroundings or conditions in which a person, animal, or plant lives or operates. And in our culture, we understand the environment as Pancha Mahabhutas. Pancha Mahabhut means the sky or the space, then air, energy or Agni, water or Jala, and Prithvi or solid material, earth. If you look at any environmental component or any environmental boundary, so in this case, you are seeing this picture, which happens to be not too far from where I live. This is the Susquehanna River, which you can see from a really scenic point from not too far from my house. I have to drive no more than 20-25 minutes to get there. It's a beautiful place, but then I have to hike about 45 minutes to go to the top of the mountain before I can see such a beautiful view. The assimilative capacity of this is the ability of the environment or a portion of the environment, such as a stream or a lake or air mass or soil layer, to carry waste material without adverse effects on the environment or on users of its resources. So this is how we define assimilative capacity in environmental science and engineering. And if this capacity is exceeded, that's when we say that the environment is polluted. As long as the environment is able to process whatever is put into that environment, it is sustainable. But pollution will occur when the assimilative capacity is exceeded. Okay. Now let's look at some very fundamental environmental principles that you should remember, and we might come back to them as the talk progresses. Okay. Nature exhibits perfect design. There are no mistakes in nature. Nature is extremely efficient. The only inefficiency we see is all the engineering systems we design. Man-made systems have inefficiency, not natural processes. They are efficient and they work according to nature's laws. So we've all heard of, laws of physics, chemistry, thermodynamics, everything. Healthy ecosystems will exhibit biodiversity and a balance among species. If one species is predominant, then we will say that that ecosystem is not very healthy. Organisms will appear in any ecosystem suitable for them, and I will share with you a shlok from Gita which talks about this. We are all naturally programmed for survival and propagation and beneficial role in the ecosystem. See, we all have to have a beneficial role in the ecosystem, otherwise the ecosystem will discard us. And I'll tell you a story about that as well. Another main principle in nature is no organism will consume or accumulate anything more than necessary. Only Homo sapiens is the organism that consumes more than necessary and also accumulates more than necessary. Is that a problem? We'll try to figure out. Every organism has a beneficial role in which in the environment or the ecosystem in which it lives, and biodiversity and balance in diversity are signs of a healthy ecosystem. So remember these principles, we'll get to them eventually. Now, what has triggered the imbalance in nature? Let's contemplate on that. So in the last about 200 years or so, maybe 250, when the steam engine was perfected, its design was perfected, from that time onwards, industrial scale production started. Industries were formed in centralized regions, and then people started living around those factories. So the population concentration started happening. Earlier, we used to live in villages, and the population concentration was not as high as after the industrial revolution took place. Also, during this phase, in the last couple hundred years, the world population has grown almost 8 times. From 1800, when we were about 1 billion, now we are more than 8 billion in less than 250 years, which is an alarming rate. What does this mean? This means that the ecosystem has an overabundance of one species, and that species which can impact the environment the most. Okay? If this world population keeps growing like this, it can grow very high. Okay? If it gets controlled either voluntarily or involuntarily, then it will go down. This is just a graph that I got from the United Nations to show you how the population can grow in the next few years until 2100. With this population rise, because of our activities and because we have mined carbon from the earth and we have burned it, carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere has increased dramatically. From 1880 until now, it has grown to more than, by almost 1.5 times, right? During this time, the average temperature of the earth has also increased. Average temperature at the surface is about a degree or degree and a half higher because we have done deforestation. We have cut down trees because we needed that as a fuel, or we needed the farmland for farming, for food for people. At the same time, because the forests were cut, wildlife has declined. If you look at the water environment, many areas in the world are under water stress. This happens to be a picture from the US, not from a developing country. So even in a developed country, if there is a release of excessive nutrients in water, eutrophication, which means excessive food in the water, can happen, because of which algae will grow. This is an algal bloom in the US. So we've seen how the wildlife or the natural environment has degraded. We've seen how the temperature has gone up. We've seen how the water was degraded. And now look at the soil. Even the soil is degraded. So this is directly a result of what we have done to the planet. Nature warned us in 2019 when we had the COVID-19 pandemic. At that time, the UN Environment Chief Inger Anderson said, nature is sending us a message through coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. Our continued erosion of wild spaces has brought us uncomfortably close to animals and plants that harbor diseases that can jump to humans. You see, we have seen the picture when we have cut down the trees, we have cut down the forests. So, where will the wildlife go? It has come very close to us because we have encroached upon the spaces that wildlife used to live in at one time. Okay. Now, look at this from a completely different perspective. Consider the earth as an organism. What we have observed is excessive human activity has led to water, air, and land pollution. We have mined the earth to such an extent and we have burnt the fossil fuel to such an extent that the atmosphere has warmed up. So it is like the earth has got a fever. What will the earth do? What does any animal do when it is not well? It stops down its activities. If you have a pet in your house, if you have a dog or a cat, when they get sick, what do? They sit in a corner and they relax. They don't do any activities. We also do the same thing. हम लोग आराम करते हैं. See? So nature's innovative and unprecedented way to slow down human activity was corona. So I don't consider the corona to be a disease. I consider the corona to be the medicine that the earth administered upon itself to cure the disease. And I think the disease is called human greed. Because of our greed, we have mined the earth to such an extent that the earth's temperature rose. During corona, what the earth or what nature forced us to do was to stop non-essential activities. And because non-essential activities stopped, air and water quality dramatically improved. Everybody complains that the Delhi air quality is so bad. Currently, the air quality index is beyond hazardous in the winter, especially. This was on the 23rd of March. Do you know when the lockdown happened? Lockdown happened on the 22nd of March. So within one day, the air quality improved. If you look at the comparison between November of the previous year 2019 and April 1st of 2020, you can see the change in the atmosphere there. Yamuna River on the left, believe it or not, the water body has always been called Yamuna River, but before the lockdown, it used to be like this on the left. But after the lockdown, within a week, the water quality improved. If you look at Mumbai, Peacocks started walking on the streets of Mumbai. Okay, Earth is not owned by humans only. Even other animals have a right to live on the earth. Look at China. On the right, there is a picture of the air quality in 2019 versus 2020. So after the lockdown, you can see how the air quality is much clearer near Beijing. This is in Venice, Italy, where this place is always, from the wildlife's point of view, infested by tourists. Okay. So it is very overcrowded by tourists. But when the tourists did not come, then wildlife reclaimed its own land or its own space. This is Los Angeles, believe it or not. Right now, it is engulfed by a lot of fire. So if you look at this picture today from this angle, you will see in the background, in the horizon, beyond those high rise buildings, a lot of fire. Atmosphere became very clear within a week of lockdown during April 2020. This is another picture from Europe. See how the air quality improved. So, what have we learned from this lockdown? We learned that when human activities are reduced, environmental quality improves. And it also told us that we should live in harmony with nature, not exploiting it. Okay? So, what does living in harmony with nature mean? It means we should respect our symbiotic relationship with Mother Nature, minimize consumption of natural and personal resources, change transportation, energy use, and dietary patterns, reduce environmental impact, and adhere to sustainable development principles. So, a lot of you have heard about what sustainable development means. It means that we should develop in such a way that future generations should be able to enjoy the same kind of quality of life which we are enjoying. We should not deprive them from enjoying the kind of quality of life we are enjoying currently. Why do we do this? Because we all want to be well. Human beings will seek health and wellness to be joyful, and this joy has to be at various levels: emotional, spiritual, intellectual, physical, and environmental, as well as financial, occupational, and social. Guess what? This health and joy are within us. This is our essential nature if we live properly. This can unfold when we live in harmony with nature, and we'll see how we can do that in the next few minutes. Okay, we should live with an eco village mentality. Is that today's need? Because industrial revolution resulted in urbanization, also environmental degradation, which we have seen, and the questions raised by 2020 pandemic. If we ponder, are urban clusters away from nature good for us? Should we rethink our development models? Should we not work towards living in harmony with Mother Nature? Should we not try reverse urbanization or ruralization? Maybe we should try something like this. This is an eco village, which is a traditional or intentional community with the goal of becoming more socially, culturally, economically, and ecologically also sustainable. This community strives to produce the least possible negative impact on the natural environment through intentional physical design and resident behavior choices. So this is how an eco village can be defined. What is this concept? Set up eco villages in rural areas, allow reverse urbanization, provide opportunities to live in harmony with nature. This whole community will be regenerative, responsible, sustainable, and built on values of harmony and compassion. This picture on the left happens to be Sadhana Forest, which is a forest near Pondicherry. If you have not visited that, I would strongly encourage you to visit it. It's a fantastic place. This eco village should have eco friendly housing made out of natural building material, where we can have the farm right behind our house so that we get the food from the farm directly to the fork. We can recycle water and reuse it. We can use renewable energy for carbon neutrality. We have all heard of the three R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. We have all heard that, right? So look at this seven R's principle, which happens to be from Govardhan Eco Village near Mumbai. First, rethink whether I should be doing something or not. If I don't need to do it, just refuse. We did that successfully during the lockdown. We did not do non essential activities, because of which the environmental quality improved. So, why can we not live without non-essential activities at all times? If we cannot refuse, then reduce the scale to which we are exploiting the planet. When we use something, after the use, anybody has any questions? Somebody has unmuted. Are you able to hear me okay? When we use something, instead of throwing it away, we should repurpose it, use it for the same purpose or different purpose, or reuse it. We should recycle whatever cannot be reused, and whatever can be composted, we can compost it or rot. So these are the 7 R's that we can think of. We should have dedicated green areas, including forests, where feasible. Forests are amazingly rejuvenative. Okay, not for the environment, not just for the environment, but also for us. It should also be a place to learn. The eco village should be a model educational institution focused on the curiosity of the mind and aspiration of greater good. We live in the 21st century. We cannot be living like people who used to live thousands of years ago. We should have modern communication facilities, but they should run on renewable energy. Here is a concept of a smart enterprise eco village, which has the concepts of land regeneration, natural housing, green power, organic farming, which will support the local economy, which will include the people of all uh, different backgrounds and cultures. It can also have innovation and incubation centers where people's creativity will be given a boost. It will also have, or it should also have, community centers for health, well-being, cultural and spiritual pursuits. So if I were to do this lecture in person with all of you, then we should have a nice place where we can gather and exchange ideas of this type. Now I'm going to talk about some of our Vedic wisdom. Shall I stop sharing the screen here for just a minute? Let me see if I can. Somehow I'm not able to stop sharing the screen, which is okay. Okay, that's fine. The fundamental principle, which happens to be in Ishopanishad or Ishavasya Upanishad, this is the first mantra. After the Shanti mantra, this is the first verse or the first mantra. It says, Ishavasyam idam sarvam, yatkincha jagatyan jagat, tena tyaktena bhunjita magradha kasyas vidanam. Everything in this universe is pervaded by the divine. That renounced, enjoy. So we should enjoy this life through renunciation, not through consumption. Do not covet anybody's wealth. We should not covet what belongs to somebody else, what does not belong to us. Or, in other words, do not covet. Because for whose is wealth? Did I bring anything here on this planet at all? When I came here, I came empty handed. When I leave this planet, I will leave empty handed. So, everything on this planet that I think is mine has always been on the planet. Does it really belong to me? It doesn't. If we think in this manner, then what we will do is we will utilize the resources, but we will not over exploit them ever. Okay. Gita happens to be the essence of all the Upanishads. So the entire essence of the Ved is the Upanishad, and the entire essence of Upanishads is the Gita. The most famous yet most misunderstood verse of the shlok in Gita is in the second chapter, 47th shlok. It says, Karmani eva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma karma phala heturbhu ma te sangostva karmani. We have control over only our actions, not over their results. We've been told that we have the right to do our action, but we don't have the right over the results of the actions. In fact, I would go to the extent of saying that if we perform an action, we will have to either enjoy or suffer the consequences of our action. So there is no way we can avoid the consequences of our action. So we cannot give up the consequences. So when we are told that you have the right to do your duty, but you don't have the right to enjoy the results of your actions, that is not correct. We will have to experience the results of our actions. What it says that we do not have control over the results of the action. We have control over karma, but we don't have control over the karma phala. So we should not consider ourselves to be the cause of the results of our activities. Of course, we are the cause of the karma, but we are not the cause of the results of the karma, because the results of the karma are going to happen according to the laws of nature. Bhagavan says, Prakruter kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha. All the reactions in nature, all the actions in nature, all the processes in nature happen according to the laws of nature. Okay? But in spite of knowing this, we should not be attached to inaction, which means that we cannot be sitting idle and not doing our duty. We have to do our duty, but we know that the results of our actions are going to happen according to natural law, and we should accept those results. If the results are not according to what we desire, then we should go back and examine our process. So even in our chemistry laboratory, if we don't get the correct answer, we repeat the experiment to make sure that we are doing the experiment right. Only then we'll get the right result. Another important verse in the Gita, which is related to our relationship with our environment, is in chapter 3, shlok number 13. It says, Yagya Shishtashin Shanto Muchante Sarvakil Vishai Bhunjate Te Tvagam Papa Ye Pachantyatma Karanat. The spiritually minded who eat food that is first offered in sacrifice, जिस अन्न को यज्ञ में आहूत किया जाता है और यज्ञ से पवित्र किया जाता है, they are released from all kinds of sin. सब पापों से मुक्त होते हैं. Others who cook food for their own enjoyment, they verily eat only sin. अगर हम यज्ञ किए बिना अन्न ग्रहण करेंगे तो हमें पाप में भागीदार होना पड़ेगा, या हम पाप करेंगे और उसका हमें दुख भोगना पड़ेगा आगे जाकर के. That is the law of karma. Another shlok, the very next shlok, Bhagavan says, अन्नाद् भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्यादन्न संभवः यज्ञाद् भवति पर्जन्यो यज्ञः कर्म समुद्भवः. All living beings subsist on food. Remember, I had told you earlier that I'll tell you how the earth is connected with the food. All living beings, we come into existence only because of the food is available. Unless the food for our survival is available in the ecosystem, we will not even come. And ecosystem, if it somehow has an excess of some kind of food, then an organism that is responsible for getting rid of or processing that food will appear in that environment. Unfortunately, in our environment right now, we have only consumed the food and we have grown to such an extent that our footprint on the planet is extremely high or extremely large. The literal meaning of this shlok is Annad Bhavanti Bhutani Parjanyadanna Sambhava, means all living beings exist or come into existence because of the food. The food happens because of rain, rain happens because of yagya, and yagya happens because of karma. Okay, so rains come from the performance of sacrifice, and sacrifice is produced by the performance of prescribed duties. What this really means is we should all perform our duties and dedicate the results of our action, dedicate our karma phala to the larger good. So हमने सबने हमारा कर्म करना चाहिए और हमारे कर्म का जो फल होगा वो समष्टि को अर्पण करना चाहिए, समाज को अर्पण करना चाहिए. So if everybody works with the attitude that I'm going to work and dedicate the fruits of my action to larger good, whenever I do any work, instead of मुझे इससे क्या मिलेगा, मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, इसके बारे में अगर हम सोचेंगे तो हमने इस श्लोक को समझा है, ऐसा हम समझ सकते हैं. एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रम नानुवर्तयति हयः अघायुरिन्द्रियारामो मोघम पार्थ सजीवति. Parth, hey Arjun, the one who does not follow the cycle set forth in motion lives sinfully. Nature's laws have to be understood and adhered by. Living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in vain. This shlok is the crux of the Gita as far as I'm concerned in terms of how we should live. युक्ताहार विहारस्य युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः. Those who are temperate in eating and recreation, balanced in work, and regulated in sleep can mitigate all sorrows by practicing yoga. तो फिर मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ? What can I do? Number one, I should live simply. I should live at the need level. I should not live at the greed level. I should not hoard unnecessarily. We should not have more things in our house than we really need. Okay. The same thing applies to the food we eat. We should eat to live, not live to eat. We should eat well. I'm not saying that we should eat like paupers, but we should eat only to the extent it is necessary to sustain our body. We should eat as much natural food as possible without processing, because then the energy footprint is lower, the carbon footprint is lower. We should exercise regularly and help others as much as possible. We should exercise regularly because we want to maintain our own body so that we can be helpful. If we don't exercise regularly, then our body will become sick. We will require maintenance and we will not be able to contribute to the society. So we should remain fit ourselves first. Only then can we help others as possible, right? And then we should meditate and contemplate just like we are doing right now. You've all seen this Maharaja Thali, right? No creature other than humans will eat a thali like this. Of course, cooking will enhance the flavor and digestibility of some food items, but it will decrease the nutritional and energy value of food, which means that we will have to consume larger quantities of cooked food than we could sustain with natural food. What is natural food? It is produced through photosynthesis, ready to eat, which is fruits and soaked nuts or seeds, vegetables, and sprouted grains and lentils. This kind of food contains the enzymes necessary to digest it. So we don't have to produce our own enzymes to digest the food we have consumed. It is much more energy efficient to live in this manner. And after you get used to it, once our palate gets cleansed, then the natural food tastes extremely juicy, tasty, and full of life energy. Okay. What are the health benefits of living in this manner? See, we have seen the environment, then we have seen the society. Now we are looking at the individual. So this wisdom is coming from the planet to the society to me. Okay, it is getting closer and closer. If I live like this, then I develop and maintain a healthy gut microbiome. Everybody is speaking about gut microbiome these days. Unless my gut is healthy, my overall body cannot be healthy. When my gut microbiome is healthy, then the inflammation is reduced. मेरे शरीर में हमेशा जलन नहीं होती है. Okay, so my body is at peace. It reduces mucus levels. It reduces allergies. ये सब मेरे बारे में हुआ है, इसलिए मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ. Body flexibility is improved. Oral hygiene is amazing. The skin is clear and glowing. There is no body odor. Diseases are reversed. We run an online program in which many participants have benefited from this lifestyle. We coach them and their diseases get reversed. Body weight, BMI, sugar, cholesterol, blood pressure, heart rate, everything is normalized without any medicine. Even if you get sick it will be very rare. It will not be very frequently, but the recovery will be very quick because of our improved immunity. And there are some practical advantages also of this lifestyle. The food requirement is lower because we get more energy out of the food we eat. Therefore, we generate less waste. Our requirement for sleep is reduced. Last night I slept at about 11 or 11:30 and I woke up naturally at about 4:30 this morning. It's about 6:30 or 6:45. Now it is 7 o'clock by my time. Jet lag is reduced because I travel internationally. This is very important for me. Since I get less sleep, I am more productive. I have more hours in the day to work. It saves time because I don't have to cook much. It saves fuel because I don't have to cook much. And cooking skills are not necessary. So, especially students, for students, this is very, very useful. You should try this. What are the environmental benefits of living in this manner? If we plant fruit trees, if we want fruits, then somebody has to plant them, no? Large fruit trees will provide shade. They also provide bird habitat and they conserve groundwater. They have very low carbon footprint and farmers are incentivized because if fruits are in demand, then people would want to plant fruit trees because the farmers don't have to babysit the fruit trees as much as they have to. Somebody has unmuted. Can you please mute yourself? Does anybody want to ask any question? Uh, Maitri Didi,
Yes,
can
sir.
you please can you please mute the
Yeah,
person
yeah,
who has
yeah.
unmuted?
Hemanta, Uh, Mr. Hemanta, you can just mute yourself, please.
Didi, if you are the host, you should be able to
Yeah,
mute them
yeah,
also.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. If you don't have to babysit your crop, then the farmer is capable of producing long-term income for relatively low maintenance. I'm still hearing some background noise, Didi. Somebody's microphone is unmuted. Please, can you mute? We are able to hear what is happening in your home. You don't want anybody to hear what is happening in your house, right? Thank you. Still, I hear somebody's microphone unmuted. Okay. If you want to take home some message, I'm going to stop sharing here. Hold on. Didi, Hemanta, you are
Mr.
unmuted.
Hemanta, you please mute yourself.
Can you please either mute him or you can take him out of the meeting
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm just telling the technical staff member to mute him.
because we are hearing a lot of background noise. Hemanta ji,
Mr.
can you
Hemanta,
please mute yourself?
Yes.
Please
please
mute
mute
your
yourself.
microphone. We are able to hear everything that's happening in your house. Thank you. Awesome. Back to my presentation. Show the window. Okay, share. You're back in business. Oops, where are we? Didi, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Does the screen say don't make sudden changes in diet?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so when we learn about how we should live, we should first learn what not to do. When we start learning to drive, we should learn where the brake is first so that we will know how to stop the car. Okay, so we should always know what not to do. इसको नहीं करना है, उसके बाद में जो करना है वो सीखेंगे. In योग, Ashtanga Yoga, Patanjali Muni first tells us what not to do, yam. Uske baad mein he tells us what to do, niyam. In the same manner, even in farming, first you have to take out all the weeds from the field. Otherwise, you will not be able to plant the good seeds. So we should do the vidvamsak karya first and then vidhayak karya. तो पहले हमने ये सीखना है कि हमने क्या नहीं करना चाहिए. So don't make any sudden changes in diet. One of the things we always forget.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Can you do the in slide mode, please? We are seeing
Is
only
it
in the
not in slide
video.
mode? Okay,
No.
okay, hold on. So I'm going to stop sharing here.
Yeah, you can just do the entire screen
Entire
sharing.
screen. Correct, correct.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
sorry about that. I'm going to do the start sharing again. Hold on. Thank you for pointing that out, Didi. How does this look now? Are we back in business? Okay. We are back in
Yes,
full
yes,
screen
yes.
mode.
Yes, yes, yes.
Perfect. All right. Uh, all right. So what should we not do? We should not eat unless hungry. And also we should not drink unless thirsty. We should not eat more than 2 meals a day. For most people like us who are relatively healthy and have a sedentary lifestyle, eating more than twice a day will give us more problems. Okay. Then don't eat snacks between meals. Don't eat past the first burp. So 50% space in the stomach should be for food and 50% space should be left empty for digestive juices and air. We should avoid stimulants, intoxicants, drugs, refined sugar, refined anything, and animal derived products because they are less energy efficient than plant based products. Okay. How do I go to the next screen? Page down, not happening. Now I don't know how to
So
move forward here.
you can
Here,
unshare it and share it again, sir.
share it
Uh,
again.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you just do the stop sharing
And
first
then again share it again.
and then
That should
share.
follow.
You can just click on the entire screen.
Entire screen is what I'm sharing.
You just click on that entire screen, then you say share, and you come to PowerPoint presentation then.
Okay, now my entire screen shows everybody's face. Now I'm going to change the
Yeah,
window
yeah.
here and go to PowerPoint presentation. Are you able to see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so now we will all go back on mute. Sorry about the technical glitch here. Oh, bingo. Nice. Wonderful. After we have learned what not to do, here are the things we should do. We should eat as much natural food, as much local and seasonal as possible. Ayurveda tells us that if we eat food out of season, then it will bother us. We should eat simple food. If we cannot live on natural food, if we have to eat cooked food, then at least start with local grains and beans, start from scratch and eat within an hour of cooking. Ideally, from the stove to the plate into the plate. Meals during sunlight hours, we should eat during the sunlight hours because our digestive system corresponds with the place of the sun in the sky. If we can easily do it, we should fast overnight for 16 plus hours. We should start with 12 and then we go on to 13, 14, 15, 16. Because when we fast for more than 12 hours, then we can detoxify our body. We should have a regular routine of work, exercise, meal times, recreation, and rest. Remember that shlok we had seen, Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu. This is what it means. We should sleep before 10 p.m. if we can do that. So I just told you. So why did you sleep at 11:30 last night? Well, I was working, and as I said, the need to sleep reduces. If you live this kind of lifestyle, you don't have to sleep as much. So your sleep is deeper, the quality of sleep improves, but the quantity or the length doesn't have to be as much. I still try to sleep at about 10 o'clock and I get up around 4 o'clock naturally without any alarm. Regularly do exercise, regularly do stretches. I love Surya Namaskar. I'll show you some pictures of Surya Namaskar. Or you should have a sport or a hobby. Surya Namaskar is our ancient wisdom, 12 different poses, easy to do. Even if you are traveling, if you are in a hotel, you can still do it. You don't have to have any gym. Our body is itself our gym. So I started living in this manner about 7 or 8 years ago. And you will be surprised how my body used to be at that time. Okay. So within about 3 or 4 months of living this kind of lifestyle and living in this kind of mindset, there was a remarkable transformation. So whatever I'm telling you is based on my own personal experience. I'm not telling you what I have read in the books. Okay. We are all scientists. One of my friends here told me once, he says, Vikram, in God we trust, but everybody else must present data. So here is the data. कमर नहीं थी कमरा था 36 inch waist it went down to 31. My height is 5 foot 8 inches and this happened when I was 56 years old, which was about 7 years ago. Weight went down from 80 to 68. Blood pressure became normal, sugar became normal, cholesterol became normal without any medicine. I still don't take any medicines at all. Because of this, you will be amazed how our strength, balance and flexibility improves. So just look at this. Again, somebody has unmuted Didi.
Hello.
I'm going to stop
Yes,
sharing
madam.
here.
Yes, madam. कुछ question है आपका?
Yes, I have a question.
अभी एक अगर 5 मिनट रुक जाएंगे ना आप तो ये प्रेजेंटेशन खत्म होने वाला है. इनफैक्ट एक ही स्लाइड और बाकी
I
है,
will
इसके बाद
wait.
हम लोग बात करते हैं, ठीक
बात
है?
आप कर लीजिएगा.
Okay.
Yes.
तो इस प्रकार से स्ट्रेंथ, बैलेंस एंड फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी कैन improve and I do these asanas even now today at age 63. Okay. So final thoughts. Industrial revolution has brought many modern conveniences, but environmental quality degraded gradually. Pandemic was a wake-up call. Serious, but not necessarily all bad. Can we change our perspective? Can we rethink our settlement models? Can engineers design systems that are useful for the society and also for the individual? Can we live in harmony with nature by incorporating Vedic principles and be happy? Thank you very much for listening to me so patiently. I'm going to share my screen, share my mobile number here if you want to contact me. And thank you very much. This is the program that we run online. If anybody is interested, they can always go to satpu.life and try to find out what we do. So did I stop sharing my screen or is it?
Yes, 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 sir. Madam Shweta, You wanted to ask some questions. Yes, you
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
You
I
can.
was asking you, sir, that this what you were talking about intermittent fasting.
Yes.
It has been my personal experience that I have been doing it, but within a week I start getting acid reflux.
Okay, so we will
And
talk about it. So this is a personal question
okay,
which is only for you. So we should talk about it offline. We will
okay,
take the
okay.
questions that are of general interest to people. By all means, Shweta Didi, you contact me and I will
Sure,
talk to you
sure.
more about this in more
Yeah, yeah,
detail.
yeah.
Okay,
Sure, sure.
wonderful. I'm so delighted there are so many people. Dr. Bhola, thank you so much for organizing this, and Dr. Maitreyi, both of you have done a remarkable job for such kind of talks. More than 50 people is a great success.
Yes, thank you so much. Any questions from
Any
anybody?
questions or comments? We have about 14
Yeah,
more minutes
yeah.
until the end of the hour, so we got plenty of time. If nobody has questions, then I'm going to answer Shweta Didi's question. Okay, Pradeep.
Yeah, we talked about the eco village concept, right? So
Yes.
now this is like the presentation. This is to start with, like to have proper mindset. It's good. However, if you want to have something on ground, do we have any proper plan in place? How to go
You
about
will
it?
be surprised. There are many eco villages even in Bharat, India, right now. Okay, this is not just a mere concept. Right now, we have developed with urbanization as our model. If we can rethink our development models, and instead of urbanization, if we can do ruralization, so reverse urbanization, if we can do that, I presented to you an idea how much we can implement. See, any good idea has to start in our mind first, correct? And then eventually it will get implemented. How have we come to where we have come in the last 200 years? Somebody must have thought that urban development has to be done in this manner, and therefore we have developed our cities, we have developed our industries. But this entire current model of industrial development as well as urbanization is an exploitative model. It does not take into consideration environmental resources to the extent we should. So I'm presenting an alternative model that should be thought about. So if we think about it now, in the next 50 years or so, we will all be able to live in this manner. We were actually living in this manner about 200 years ago, and we destroyed this entire lifestyle and thought process, and we have come to this level now where we are right now. So we have to rethink our development models and move towards mother nature rather than live in urban environments. Okay,
Uh,
thank you, Kailash ji.
can
Ritu,
you
hello.
reshare your contact details? I think we missed.
Okay, so if you even Google my name, you will see a YouTube channel. On the YouTube channel, if you go, by all means, you should be able to contact me, or I have a LinkedIn profile. I'm happy to share my screen once again. Hold on, the entire screen, and we'll try to go here. So here is my contact number. So this is the WhatsApp number. So it's +1 because I live in the US. 717-215-6481.
Sir,
Happy
it has
to
not been
communicate
shared.
with.
Please, it is
Can
not
I
visible to us.
cancel? Okay, hold on. Shall I give it in my chat here?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
sure. That will
wonderful.
be nice.
+1 717-215-6481. So this is my number.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Awesome. Beautiful.
Mr.
Hover over
Ritu
message.
Sada, you want to ask
Hello.
a question? You have raised your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Dr. Manoj Chaturvedi. Hello, sir.
Oh,
Manoj here.
नमस्ते मनोज भाई, कैसे हो आप?
Name is
मैं
Ritu.
ठीक हूँ सर, आप कैसे हैं?
So nice to see you. बताइए.
You were talking about reverse urbanization, and
Correct.
what about biomimicry concept that was included in Lavasha?
You see, if the model is not exploitative, if the model is regenerative, that model has to be adopted. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
completely familiar with the model in Lavasa.
Mm-hmm.
Lavasa is, I have been to Lavasa, but, and it's a beautiful community. About that, there is no doubt. But
Yeah.
how many of these principles have been taken into consideration? I'm not aware. I think
Yeah.
Lavasa was developed maybe 30 or so years ago.
Almost more than 15 year it is. I mean,
More than
more than
15,
15.
definitely. But I
Yeah.
think, see,
Yeah.
I have been in the US for about 24, 25 years, and it was there even before that. So I'm thinking it
Yeah.
was thought about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But since then, we have come so far ahead in terms of our environmental footprint. So we
Yeah.
need to reverse it now in some manner, right?
Yes. Yes.
So the elements that I suggested can be
Yeah.
included in the eco village thought
Mhm.
process. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that everybody will be able to live in the eco village starting tomorrow, but if
Mhm.
such development or such places are available for people to live, I personally I live in a suburb right now. So
Yeah.
I live away from the main city. Where I live, there is a lot of greenery. My home has as many eco-friendly technologies as I can afford. They are all
Mhm.
here. But
Oh,
over time, we will have no choice but to live in an
yes.
eco-friendly manner. Otherwise, the degradation will be so bad. Our population, uh, I hope it is not reduced because of wars. I hope we can reduce it through voluntary actions.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for asking this question, Manoj Bhai. It's nice to see you.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Anybody else has any questions?
Anybody else?
Miss Ritu Hada raised the hand, I think.
हाँ वो वही थे मनोज
Not only Manoj
मनोज चतुर्वेदी थे वो he is
Chaturvedi
from
sir थे.
I think he is from Qatar if I'm not wrong right now.
Yes.
But I'm
And
delighted to see so many people here. Amazing. Anyone else has any comments or questions? I'm happy to take criticism as well. Don't think that whatever I have told is the gospel truth. Whatever I have told you is my experience and my
Yeah,
perspective.
Dr. Vikram, I have query because of this population issue.
Yes, sir.
Elon Musk always, writes that population is a resource and population will be decreased in some countries and it would be a kind of very negative impact on their society and community like South Korea, European countries. So he says that we should have larger families rather than reducing the population.
See, the sustainable population growth is about 2.1, if I'm not wrong, 2.1 or 2.2. So, on an average, we should have more than two children per family. Only then the population can be sustained. In some countries where the population growth rate is less than that, there the percentage of elderly has increased and the percentage of younger people has decreased. So, who is going to take care of all the old people? So, even population growth has to be sustainable. It cannot be. What has happened is it has increased in certain places where the resources are limited, whereas where the resources are abundant, the population growth rates have gone down. So there is an imbalance. So that balance has to be restored. And that balance, you see, if we don't do it voluntarily, I can assure you nature will do it on its own. Nature is supreme. Nature knows way better than we do. We think we know nature, we don't know it completely. Nature's secrets can be known only if we look at it reverentially. Nature's secrets cannot be known if we look at it with the intention to dominate it. एक चीज अगर आप ध्यान में रखोगे कि वी आर ए पार्ट ऑफ नेचर, वी आर नॉट अपार्ट फ्रॉम नेचर, ये हमेशा ध्यान में रखें हम. If we think that we are apart from nature and we are going to somehow dominate it for our own either pleasure or self aggrandizement, या हमारे भौतिक सुख के लिए, या फिर क्योंकि हमारा ईगो इतना है कि हम इसके ऊपर डोमिनेट करेंगे, किसी तरह से हम बड़े होना चाहते हैं, ये दोनों कारणों से हमने पर्यावरण की इतनी हानि की है अब तक कि इससे बाहर निकलना भी मुश्किल हो रहा है. वी हैव टू एटलीस्ट थिंक पॉजिटिवली एंड टेक सम पॉजिटिव मेजर्स और स्टेप्स इन द राइट डायरेक्शन. जिस तरह से हम लोग सी राइट नाउ वी नो दैट वी आर गोइंग टुवर्ड्स एनवायरमेंटल डिग्रेडेशन एंड ruin. If we are going in the wrong direction, we have to apply the brakes, not the accelerator. We have to turn the direction. हमको उल्टा चलना पड़ेगा, यू टर्न करके और फिर एक्सीलेटर दबाना पड़ेगा, तब जाकर के हम कहीं पहुंचेंगे, नहीं तो हम तो गलत दिशा में जा रहे हैं। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दिस कमेंट। Any other questions or comments? So Shweta Didi, I'll answer your question because there are no other questions. We still have Pradeep. You have a question again? Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Pradeep,
So
yeah.
yeah, since we talked about it, and I think let's say that now this is the first step to the awareness session. But like we're not clear like what is the next plan of action at the individual level, because this seems to be like the problem seems to be at the policy level, government policy level, worldwide. Uh, since we talked about the development model that needs to be reversed, so how as an individual what we can do as a plan of action?
So that
One,
was the last part, right? So at the individual level, we have to consume less than we are consuming right now. More consumption means better is not the paradigm. The paradigm is we have to consume only as much as necessary for us. If we live at the need level, rather than at the greed level or at the want level. Even at the want level we will consume more than necessary, and at the greed level of course we will consume more than necessary. इस तरह से planet नहीं चल सकता है. No animal consumes more than necessary. So if Homo sapiens happens to be the animal that consumes more than necessary, then Mother Nature will take care of him, which we have learned, or we should have learned during COVID. Why did COVID happen? One theory is because wildlife has come so close to us. So the diseases of wildlife have jumped onto humans. But why did we go so close to wildlife? Because we cut down their habitat. We encroached upon wild habitat. So then wildlife had no choice but to come close to us. They don't have enough space. So therefore, the main thing we can do, all of us, is to re-examine our own life. Since childhood, what I used to do, I'll tell you my secret. Every 6 months, I will take a survey and inventory of my own house, of my own room. As a child or as a young boy, I used to only be in charge of my own room. Look at how many things I have not used in the last 6 months. If they are good in usable condition, then I would try to sell them. I used to sell them even in the 1970s and 80s. I used to sell my stuff. Then if you cannot sell it, then give it away to somebody who can use it. If you cannot even do that, then discard it. जो usable नहीं है, whatever you cannot use, you have to discard, of course, responsibly and sustainably. If you have something hazardous, you cannot dump it or burn it. You have to make sure that you're disposing of things responsibly, but clean your house. So keep as few things as possible. Don't hoard unnecessarily. Otherwise, you are depriving somebody else from that resource, no? So at the personal level, we should live simply. We should maintain ourselves properly so that we can be of help to society. This is a nice question. I think we can have another conversation on this. But before we leave here, we have 2 more minutes. Shweta Ben, I'm going to answer your question. So for your acidity, your body has to become alkaline first. Okay. So to make the body alkaline, there are many ways in which we can do that. And I'll be happy to talk to you regarding that. So by all means, send me a WhatsApp message and I'll be happy to talk to you. Thank you. So, Didi?
Sorry,
बताइए.
maybe I need to paraphrase my question. When I was saying at a personal level, plan of action, as in the development model, I was talking that in the context of eco village concept. So, as in now, let's say since like the development model is flourishing because we guys are like habitual to this flat system models in the urbanization, and that is also has to do with the your job culture and all that. But then now, if you want to like switch to a eco village model, now your entire life needs to be resettled. Uh, so like
I'm
right
not
from
saying
the,
that this is going to happen tomorrow, Pradeep.
of course
It's
it is not.
probably going to take many, many years, maybe even several decades. But we have to start thinking in that manner. And there are deliberate communities that are coming up or that have come up. So there is no reason for us not to think in this manner and think in this direction. So I presented to you an idea. I'm not saying that this is going to happen tomorrow.
No, so are we working? Do we have any such eco village model in progress wherein probably
There
we
are
can
many such. I'll
participate?
send you some examples. If you send me a message, I'll send you some examples of where they are, even in India.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
And I'm hoping to build my own eco village at some point, or
Exactly. That is what
develop
my
one.
question was precisely.
If you are interested in that, keep in touch with me. The day my eco village is formed, then I'll be happy to invite you and be a part of it.
Surely. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Maitri Didi, I
Okay,
think we
thank
should
you,
wrap it
sir.
up.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I'll just ask our director, sir, Professor Gurja, sir, you want to say something?
Well, it's really wonderful session on environmental sustainability and its linkages with our ancient wisdom and lifestyle. And Dr. Vikram has given the real example of his own life. So seeing is believing. You see, like he has changed his complete physique as well as other habits, and he's a living example of what could be demonstrated in the right manner. So this is very much impactful, and I would like to thank Dr. Vikram for your time and this wonderful session webinar, to NITR Chandigarh faculty staff as well as other uh, you know institutions, and rather many people have joined from across India and many other parts of the world, I think. So this
Yes.
is a good opportunity for us to outreach to the community and share with them how this environmental sustainability can be looked into with new perspective, that this urbanization or industrialization has given us so much negative things, and can we think in a better manner so that the life can be a really sustainable on this planet earth, and our future generations can be thankful to us rather than cursing us. Thank you again, Dr. Vikram, for
Thank you,
this
sir.
wonderful
Thank
and
you, sir. Thank you so much for your such comments. And also, I'm seeing in the chat box somebody is asking about the link of the recorded session. Yes, we will provide. We will provide to all registered candidates or participants the certificate as well as the recorded session of this. Right? Don't worry about this. Thank you, sir. It's my honor to give a formal vote of thanks, and really it was awesome. It was awesome, and your examples and unique perspectives from Gita's slokas, that really inspired all of us. And you can just see that many of the participants, they are asking, many of them, maybe they will contact you personally because you have given your number. And you have told nicely that we have to live in harmony with nature. Really, it is so. Because you have said that we have to work, and but we don't have to consider the cause of the result of the work, karma. We have to do the karma, but we don't have to consider the cause of the result, right? So that you have told very nicely. And it is really the balanced life, balanced work, balance, the sleep, everything is important in human life. And then only we will we will help the environment to be sustainable and all. So thank you so much. It was a very nice lecture, and we will contact you in future also, sir. And from NITR Chandigarh, on behalf of NITR Chandigarh, I thank you from core of my heart, and I really express my gratitude to you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. All the participants, you will get the certificates as well as the recording session link, right? By tomorrow, you will get all these things. Thank you. Thank you.
It has been a pleasure.
Everyone.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.